Okay, so there we are. You're up in the front of the truck and you see what I see. And it's a beautiful day. It's cloudy but blue skies everywhere. And this is part of what I love about living in the province. We live in the province. I've noticed we have a lot of new viewers and they don't know anything about what we do here. Beth and I have a charity. We are a registered charity and we do what we can with what we have. We're only a little tin pot affair, doing the best we can to bring some positive change to the environment. And when I say a positive change, I don't mean that we're changing people. I don't believe that we are changing people. We're changing the environment itself as experienced by people. And so what I've got now is a police truck. Now here's a good example of the difference here in the province. I've got a police truck in front of me. If I was in the UK or in the US, I would no more think of overtaking this truck than I would of jumping out of a moving vehicle. But I can do it here and I don't have to fear. This was one of the differences that I noticed of living in America, in the West. So I'm just making sure that we're into a straight section of the road, and then there, so we're clear to go now. As soon as he realises that a dirty raptor has passed him, that cop will know who we are. We're actually partnering with the police, the Taliban police, which is what that patrol car there, patrol truck, he will be from Taliban, and we're doing the cooking. Our contribution to that will be the cooked material, and the PNP, the police, will be doing their part, and they'll probably help us to get stuff to the site where we're going to do the feeding, which is not very far from where I started the video. So but back on to, that's what we're doing today. After we've done that, we have to drive to Tagbilaran. We've been doing that an awful lot lately because of our efforts to help Justine. Justine is a young girl. I think she's about 16. A lovely kid, just so sweet. But she had a cyst to her face, right next to her nose, huge, ugly thing, which must have been such a trial. But anyway, we managed to get together with the Tutti Foundation, who very generously took nearly three quarters of the bill for the hospital, and what we came up with, I think 30. We came up with 30,000. We're talking pesos, okay? And now Justine is healing. She's staying in a small dorm that we have for 4 or 6 of our students, and she's being very well taken care of. For you guys who are thinking Western when you're looking at the Philippines, I always joke, I know it's not very funny now or profound, but I always say that it's same planet, different world, and it is. You see that we just overtaken a police truck. They're not in the least bit going to start hassling, not even if they recognize me or not. This is the national highway that we're on now, and as we go along the national highway, we pass through the various small barangays. This is Bagakai, which we're coming back to do the feeding now in Bagakai. Now, it's funny, when I don't have the camera on, I'm musing to myself and I'm thinking of all of the huge differences in life here. I can only give you my viewpoint, which may be right or wrong. It's only right for me, and it may strike a chord with you or not. Of course, we take that chance, don't we? But what I notice when I'm here is I'm not as stressed, but at the same time I know that it wouldn't be for everybody. This is not a life for everybody. We've had a few people. It's all in the way that you look at things. This is where we get our fresh fish. Fananai and the household on the hill constantly eat fresh fish and rice. So, as I was saying, that I notice that it's very much in the viewpoint, and what one person would think of as paradise, another person would think was going through sheer hell. Some of the visitors that we have had, foreigners, and they brought their girlfriends along or wives, and even though the man may have been the follower, the subscriber, so therefore knowing the kind of life that we live and the kind of work that we do, our mission to help, the wife or the girlfriend would not always be very pleased. And I remember one that came with a friend who was incredibly helpful. The first time that he came, he did a huge amount of stuff for us on our hill. But his girlfriend quietly said to Beth, when she saw the way that we live, she said, "I couldn't live this way," as if it was some terrible life of deprivation, which I really don't think it is. Somebody, another subscriber very recently, thought that the way that we live was, his question was, why do you live, you do so much for other people, why do you live in such poor conditions yourself? Well, the truth is, after the typhoon, which was little publicised in the West, for some reason, it was hardly publicised, so a lot of the aid that would normally have flooded into the Philippines didn't come. While our area, which experienced the main thrust of the super typhoon, it wrecked a lot of homes. 100,000 people, it might have been 100,000 families homeless, and that is still something that we're working to try and change. But other people have shown that it's in the way that you look at things. Paradise is in the heart, is in the eye, as beauty is in the eye of beholder. So is paradise. When I drive along and I'm driving perhaps through rice fields, we just went to Menzies' house, one of our students. She's actually away at the moment, but we had to pick up cooking pots for our feedings. We have our own big cooking pots and cleaned plastic containers that we take all of our cooked food to the site and we dish it out when we get to where we're going to do the feeding. So we went there, and as I went to Menzies' house, it's a narrow road and it goes through rice fields. You will see paintings by some of the Asian artists would be exactly the view that I saw. A really incredible, beautiful scene, but it's only that way if you see it. Once I bumped into a neighbour we were not on good terms, but face to face, I guess civility comes in, and we stopped and exchanged small talk for a moment. And I happened to say, it was a beautiful sunny day, and I happened to say, we were in Taliban on the sidewalk, and I said, wow, I've seen so many beautiful women today. And he said, I've seen so many ugly women. Now, we're looking at the same scene, so evidently it's in the way that you look at things. If you see paradise, the paradise is already in your heart. It's already in your eyes. It's already in the mindset that you have for the place that you are now living. And if you're a foreigner and you're coming to this country, everything is going to be different. I guarantee one thing. Can't guarantee how you look at things. That will be up to you. But I can guarantee that everything will be different. Look at this scene in front of you, number 295, and that's the taxi driver. Then he's got his leg up, a little bit like I've seen some Harley Davidson riders, and he's driving along, only doing about 35, I think. Whereas everybody else on the road, if it's a modern car, will be doing what I'm doing now, 60. And 60 is quite low, or quite slow for being on the road, and people will be passing me. There's a motorcyclist now, he's just itching to get past me. You'll see him in a moment with a blue helmet. He's only on a scooter, but he's doing 70 or 80. You can see at the side of the road, people have just set up a little stall, and they're selling watermelon because it's the season. But we're traveling through huge areas of rice fields, and all of this area, Beth always tells me, is irrigated, so they have water, whereas so many other rice fields depend on rain. Here they don't. At the moment we're having so much rain that it's not, water is not a problem. So now we've had a super typhoon. It happened in December, and we are still, Beth and I, our family, our extended family, other people on the hill, are still without power. Nearly 8 months we're still without power. We don't have any electricity. If we don't have electricity and don't have a generator, we would be back to fetching water from the well, which is down a steep hill, and back again to fetch water from the clean well. That's the one that's covered. There's an electric motor there which pumps water up to our storage tanks, and then we rely on gravity to feed it to the houses. Fortunately, we did manage to get a generator. You couldn't get a generator for love nor money when the typhoon hit, and soon after, but we managed to get one that had been made in Japan, and so it's gone quite well. But even then, constant on and off every day, it's already had to be repaired. So I'm actually coming into Taliban now. We're at the crossing, and the crossing is the only place that you'll find a set of traffic lights. But they haven't been on for nearly 8 months because there's been no electricity. So we're relying on goodwill and everybody working together. So now what I see what I see now is a very small town. You're going through constantly through very small town sections, little what they call barangays, and that's where businesses and homes go off, leading off from the national highway. They're gradually widening it. Now, if you're a foreigner, this would be impossible for you. You're coming along, and there literally are thousands in Taliban alone. There are thousands of motorcycles. They're everywhere. But in the Philippines, and here's a big difference, in the Philippines a man can marry, have a wife, 2 children, or possibly 3, and still carry all of that and a bag of rice on a solo motorcycle. It's different. And what happens when you come here, while you're looking at things, you look at them through your heavily regulated, trained, programmed way of looking at things, which you adopt when you're in your home country. You adopt that, and you adopt that willingly because it brings about order. You don't have that order here, but with it comes a bigger sense of responsibility for yourself. As you look at, say, a motorcyclist who has a woman, obviously his wife, and 2 children with him on the motorcycle and driving along, and none of them have safety helmets, and none of them have shoes. They're all wearing slippers. And you will look at that and see danger, that this is not right, it's not safe. We get constantly reminded on our channel that things are not safe. Please, everybody, wear a safety helmet. Don't go so fast, don't go here, don't go there, don't go what. And this is all done from your orderly life in whichever country you're viewing from. And it doesn't exist here. See, while we've been talking, I think we've passed, just passing one now, we've passed probably 3 or 4 in the space of barely a mile. We've passed 3 or 4 motorcycle outlets, and we're going to pass more before we get into Taliban town. See, vendors on the side, and all of this, it's chaos if you're the ugly girl, man, and it's paradise if you're the beautiful woman, man, if you get me. If you look at it in a negative way, you will see the negativity. More motorcycles. There's 1, 2 right next to each other, and here I'll let this man across, but he's over into my right of way far too much if I look at it from a foreigner's point of view. So the people are parked everywhere. That's Vidasto that we've just passed, and that's the little restaurant that we go to so often. And people milling about. Jaywalking is the way. There's a little man there with a hat. He is somebody that when a tricycle taxi driver comes in, he has to pay, I think, 10 pesos. Don't know whether they do that every time, but people, as you can see there, people just stop in the middle of the road. Kind of reminds me of London taxis, the black taxis. They're there to make a living, and they'll stop, and it doesn't matter whether it's causing traffic or not. If they have to get on with their business and support their family. And that's how I look at it here, is that people are doing what they're doing in order to support their family. See, here, no parking in this area, and I probably would park here next to that sign. The worst that would happen to me, come along my dear, you can cross. The worst that could happen to me if I parked there would be that I'd be told to move or put on my hazard warning lights, and that's about it. Now I'm looking for a parking space. There's a motorcycle left in the road. Not sure if I can get by. And that police truck was right behind me. They won't do anything about that motorcycle there. It's part of life. Now look at all of the motorcycles here. I mean, literally thousands of motorcycles. Here's a man, look, what is he doing? He's taking he's putting on his trousers. He's parked in the road. He's a passenger. He's smiling, look. And that's from the hardware store, which we get some of our materials. Excuse me, ma'am.
Oh, sir.
Can you get there? Tell him he can't park there.
What?
Tell him he can't park there. See, and I'm blocking the road as well, and there's people behind me, but nobody's getting angry. See, so this is chaos for some people. I can't get through here now. I'll have to wait. It's chaos for some people, and it's paradise for some. So you take your choice. You take your choice and have your opinion. Now he's a traffic enforcer. He doesn't know if anybody's in there, probably not. So how has the Philippines changed me? This. People I know. Okay. See, so the traffic enforcer has come and said, please sir, wait. And that's what I'll do. But I know that in the UK, people would be spitting bullets now. That man is parked there. He's stopping all of the people from coming out of the parking lot of Jollibee because he's gone into Jollibee. There he is. So now we can move on. But he hasn't gone on very far, has he? Now I'm sure the enforcer's going to tell him to move. Now, maybe if it was LA, they'd be pulling a gun. I went into the parking lot in in the US, and I remember walking home with my friend, and we were walking in the road in the parking lot, and it was very spacious, plenty of space for anybody to get around. But a man was in a car behind us, and he wanted us to get out of the way. Well, there was plenty of space for him to come round, so we were just walking along, and we waved him off. And when he overtook us, he was a very smooth looking guy in a smooth looking car, and he wound his window down, and as he leaned forward, and his right hand, with his left hand on the wheel and his right hand on the passenger seat, was holding a 9mm gun. And I said to him, "There's plenty of space for you." And he decided to drop it, and he left. And as he drove away, my friend Will said to me, we nearly became a statistic. So that's the difference. But then you've got a guy there, and he's blocking the drive, lots of people inconvenienced, and nobody's getting aggravated, so it's amazing for me. But I'm getting into where I need to stop yapping and park the truck, which I'm going to do here. And so I'll end off my video. I'm very much changed since I came here, very much.